Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Esther Archange, and I am an academic trainer with the Center for Teaching and Learning. Today's session is titled Design Not Default, Helping Women Leap into Her Greatness, with our very own NCU faculty member, Dr. Randy Sanders. In honor of Women's History Month, our last webinar of the month will recognize women in leadership. Just a couple of housekeeping items before the presentation. I'm recording the webinar and the video will be posted on the Center for Teaching and Learning LibGuides webinar page within 24 hours. If you have questions throughout today's session, you can type them in the Q&A feature located at the bottom of the Zoom window. We also have the feature to ask questions to our presenter directly as well. In addition, the chat feature is open for dialogue and conversation. For those of you who would like to add commentary, vocal commentary to the presentation, you can click on the raise hand feature located at the bottom of your Zoom, and I will give you the permission to speak. So those are the features that are available to you. This will be an interactive presentation, so please be involved. Don't be shy. We welcome all questions. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Randy Sanders.
Thank you, Esther. I'm so excited to be here today. Welcome, everyone. I want to talk to you today about this topic that is near and dear to my heart, designing your career rather than defaulting into one. It's Women's History Month, and I think it's just a great opportunity to continue to empower women and encourage women, motivate women to just take ownership of their career. And I am excited to be here with you today. People tend to ask me from time to time, design not default. Where did you come up with that? So think about when you use the term D&D, right? D&D typically means do not disturb. So when I heard that and I thought about design not default, I said, oh my goodness, I see the parallels. Do not disturb. Now it's time for me to disturb myself. So now I want to design not default, right? So D&D, design not default. We are no longer defaulting into our careers. We are designing where we want to go. And today we're going to talk about how you can leap into your greatness each and every day to get to where you want to go in your career path. So I'm excited. I thank you for being with me here today. Again, Esther, thank you for the introduction. Everyone knows, hopefully, who I am. If you're part of the NCU tribe, if not, if you're externally alumni who have been away for a while, I'm Dr. Randy Sanders. I'm an associate dean here in the School of Business. I am also a career women's strategist. I love talking about women in leadership. I'm dedicated to helping women leaders move into executive and senior level positions. So as we go about this today, I'm going to start off by talking about a little bit of historical data when it comes to women in leadership. So this is the current picture of women in executive and leadership positions. So I want you to take a look at this here. U.S. women in education and the workforce. We make up 51% of the U.S. population, and we hold 60% of undergrad and master degrees. We're 47% of the U.S. labor force. And when it comes to, college educated workforce, we are 49%. This is a great picture, right? Very strong picture of women in the workforce, have their education, but unfortunately, it's not translating over to leadership roles in these organizations and institutions. We currently hold 52% of professional jobs, but we're still lagging substantially behind men in leadership positions. And we're going to talk about today, why is that and what we can do to position ourselves to create it. Now, while I said that we are lagging behind men, it's no ding against our male counterparts. We appreciate you all. We thank you for being allies. We just want to also be able to serve in these leadership positions. We want to be provided the opportunities to lead some of these companies, these corporations, and have a seat at the table. So we really want to be your equal. Okay, this is, again, not an opportunity to say we're being held back, but we want to just kind of show the data where we currently stand and how we can get there. So let me just show you some other data sets that I came across when I was doing this research on women in leadership. So in leadership positions, unfortunately, this is like the downside of what's going on. We're only 19% with the S&P 1500 board seats. We're only 19% of that. Only 5% of women are serving in CEO S&P 500 companies. 26% are occupying the executive and senior leadership positions in these companies. And when it comes to women of color in these executive and senior leadership positions, unfortunately, it's only 4.7%. So when you look at these numbers, right, we are thriving in the population. Women are thriving with getting their educations. We are out here in the workforce. But it just, for some reason, it's just not translating over to these senior and executive level positions. So my mindset is that we need to become more proactive. We need to get into these positions of power and influence and kind of take ownership of that. Okay, those are the things. This is just again, some of the data. As you can see, the discrepancy in the numbers here, we are thriving, but for some reason, it is just not translating when it comes to these organizations. So how can we start to design where we want to go? This is a quote that I like that from John Ashroff, and it says, "The truth is, no matter what your current circumstances are, if you can imagine something different and something better for yourself, you can create it." So I want to take a moment right here, and I'm going to ask everyone if they can kind of fill in the blank of this sentence. To advance my career, I will. And I'm just going to pause for a moment to just take a look in the chat box. Esther, please help me out here. And I just want to see how you are actually populating this. To advance my career, I will do X, Y, and Z.
I'm going to give you all some time to think about and ponder on that question there. All right, they're starting to load. We have Lynn, Jacqueline, says she would get her PhD. Sheila, it looks like, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Complete my degree. So a lot of folks are looking at education. Angela, Lucilla, pay attention to my heart's desires.
Very good.
Mary Jackman, continue to work with my mentor and complete my PhD. Melissa says, pass my SHRM CP exam and become Dr. MB. A lot of doctors in the house, future doctors. Tiffany says, learn the skills I need to create what I desire. Okay. Dustin put in the hard work, effort, and time. And they're still loading.
Yeah, see, these are all great responses. I'm going to jump back up because I saw a quick question. Someone asked, how's that broken down ethnically? There's a report where I pulled my data set from. It's called the Women's Leadership Gap. It's from the Center for American Progress. And it does break down the data set ethnically, if you want to go check that out. I didn't put that in there in my particular presentation, but if you would like to see a breakdown, you can go ahead and take a look at that. It's called the Women's Leadership Gap. The report comes through the Center for American Progress. These are all great responses on how you plan to advance your career. All right, so let's keep this going. All right, and the reason why I wanted you to pause there, because I really wanted you to kind of reflect and think about it, because you truly just have this one life, right? And you need to ask yourself, how am I going to spend it? Are you going to be apologizing? Are you going to be regretting it? Are you going to be questioning everything? Are you going to hate yourself? Are you dieting? Are you going to be running after people who just don't see who you are? Or are you going to be brave? Are you going to believe in yourself? Are you going to do what feels good? Take those risks. You have, again, only this one life to live. So you want to make yourself proud. And I'm so happy to see in the comments that people are actually taking time out to think about what they're going to do to advance their careers. Get your education, put the effort in, follow your heart desires. These are all great responses. So we're going to LEAP, right? I want you to just visualize for a moment, close your eyes, and I want you to just kind of say to yourself, I leap into greatness and I cannot be stopped. This is the declaration that I want you to make on today. All right, so today is kind of a mind shift as well in this presentation. Just take a moment, take a deep breath, exhale, and just say, I leap into greatness and I cannot be stopped. This is your timeline. And wherever you are on your timeline, you can declare at this very moment that the time is now. The time is now for me to recreate. The time is now for me to design where I want to go. The time is now for me to get very clear on my career trajectory. What do I want to do? What do I desire? Where do I want to head? Who can help me along this pathway? And tell yourself, I will not be stopped. I am a hip hop R&B fan. So when I think of that, I cannot be stopped. There's a song from the 90s from, I want to say it's like a bad boy, Sean Puffy Combs group. And he has a song that says, I can't stop, won't stop. And that's a motto for me. I walk around life and I just say, I can't stop, won't stop. Everything that I desire, I shall acquire, because it first starts in the mind and I just put action steps in place to acquire it. So again, tell yourself from this day forward, I am leaping into this greatness and I shall not be stopped until I get what I desire. So as you do this, you have this awakening, right? So now we've shifted our mindset. We are determined. We have this resolute on what we're going to do and how do we get there, right? It's kind of stepping back, asking, who am I, right? What is my identity? What exactly do I want to do, right? We talked about what are you going to put in place to get to in your career, where you want to go, your education, the effort. But who are you today? Are you clear on your identity? Are you clear on what you want to do? And here I'm going to pause again because I want people to put in the chat some responses to these questions. Who are you? And I'll share out, who am I? I'm a mother. I'm a higher ed administrator. I am a woman career strategist. I am someone, like I said, who cannot be stopped in the things that I desire. I definitely know that I'm a mentor, I'm a coach. I know that I'm a giver, I pour into others. I want to see people live their best lives. I want to help them elevate to their next level. So share out with me, who are you? I'm also a daughter. I'm also a sister. Who are you? Oh, someone said it was Mace. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that.
We'll give our attendees some time to ponder on who they are.
See, we told you we're going to be interactive, right? Don't be shy here. All right, I see Tiffany. She's a mother, a wife, a mentor, a coach, business owner. Yes, student. Yes, yes. I see a mother, nurses. You have CPAs, praying warrior. Good, good, good. I am affirmed. I'm hopeful. Yes, these are all great responses. HR manager, woman of God, a champion, a survivor. Yes. Now tell me, what do you want? Do you know, are you clear on what do you want? Business professional, wife, coach, mentor, positive woman. Yes, yes. I like these responses. Christian, wife, daughter, counselor. Someone who does not waste my time with jealousy. I target in on my goals and get it done. Yes, I like that. That's very clear. Very clear. People are setting their intentions. Okay, I like it. Okay, great. So let's move right along here. So are you ready to lead? Are you ready to lead? Are you ready to elevate? Are you ready to be active? You want to be activated? Are you truly ready to prosper? Right? And let's talk about these. How do we lead? We're going to shift from doing to leading. We're going to take charge of our career. We're going to activate by mobilizing other women on the rise. We're going to prosper by living our best lives, not someone else's. For a very long time, once I graduated high school and got my college degree, the society tells you what you're supposed to do, right? You get your education, you get a good job, you get married, kids, wife, picket fence. This is kind of like the picture that's painted for you. But is that truly what you desire for your life? At times, people say that if you desire something different, then it's not in alignment. But who is society to dictate what you are to create for your life? This is why I say design rather than defaulting. You don't have to default at any point in time. You can truly take the pencil to the paper and design out what you want to do. You are the master of your life. I say the author of your book, the captain of your ship. You are designing it all in all aspects, personal and professional. So we're going to talk about each of these, how you are going to shift from doing to becoming more of that leader, how you're going to elevate and again, take charge because you're getting very clear. People are very clear in the chat on who they are and what they want to do. And we're going to talk about how we're going to activate to mobilize those women to bring them along. Someone had to help me get to where I'm at, and I'm always looking back to help someone bring them up to their next level. And I do. I want to live my best life. I want to live by my rules. I want to be free in all that I do while I'm being a contributor and being someone that's positive and helping the next person. Okay? So let's talk about it. What's the first thing that we're going to do? We're going to lead and elevate. And how do we do that? We're going to get into the arena. And there's this quote by Teddy Roosevelt. It's the man in the arena. I absolutely love it. It talks about the man in the arena is getting bruised, beat down. Life is just really beating them up. But this individual does not give up. They get up. They continue to fight. And they give everything that they have because they want to be successful. They want to come out victorious. So you have to get in the arena if you truly want to design where you want to go. That just means taking charge of your career and your life, knowing what you want to do, becoming an exceptional communicator. Communication is the foundation of everything that we do. Again, personal and professional. A lot of this overlaps, right? You want to increase your visibility. You want to stop waiting for permission or an invitation. And this is very important when it comes to the workforce, especially for women. A lot of women sit around and wait for permission. We are very great at what we do in our jobs. And we want someone to see us for our greatness and for our contributions. And then we want them to say to us, because you've done so well, I think it's time for you to be promoted. And that may never happen. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you're great at what you do. So you're a good worker bee. And why would I want to move you from this level to the next level if you are fantastic right here, unless you kind of demand it, right? Just follow me a little bit here. This is where you're going to stop waiting for that permission and you're going to say to your supervisor or your boss, listen, I enjoy what I currently do, but I know where I want to go in this organization. I'm very clear on my career trajectory, and this is a plan of action I would like to discuss with you. I would like to talk with you about where my strengths are, where I may improve, and how I can get to my next level. That's taking charge of your career. That's being very vocal about where you want to go. That's being an exceptional communicator and approaching your boss with this conversation. So we're no longer going to wait for permission. We're not going to let people just see us do our good work and wait for them to pat us on our backs. We're going to pat our own selves on the backs because we know we're great. And we're going to also say, hey, boss, can I have a conversation with you? There's this position that I'm quite sure I can contribute to. Is this something you think we can have a conversation about? So we're going to actually be more proactive, and we're going to take those initiatives and have those conversations. Increase your visibility, and we're going to get into these a little bit more as well, but I'm just wanted to kind of go through these. Increasing your visibility just means getting yourself more out there. In some organizations, people like to just go to work, clock in, do their job, go home, rinse and repeat throughout the week. You want to kind of ebbs and flows. You want to get out into your organization so people can see you. You're great at being in your current function, but how can you contribute in other areas? So you want to make yourself more visible. So I say go out there and get it. So I'm gonna pause here to see if there's any comments in the chat or any questions after.
There's a good comment in the chat here. Lynn Jacqueline is saying someone can take that approach as confrontation or too forward, especially for BW, which I'm assuming that's a Black woman. How can this person deal with that?
Right, you're absolutely correct. It can be received as confrontational or stepping forward. And this is where you are becoming that exceptional communicator. This is where you're going to pick and choose your words to have that conversation with your boss, right? So you're approaching them and you're just saying, you appreciate what you're currently doing. You enjoy what you currently do, but how can I provide more value to the organization? I want to contribute more because I believe in the organization's mission and goals. And you position yourself and have the conversation from that vantage point on how you can help them make the organization better. So it shouldn't be received as confrontational, but let me just also put this caveat on there. Unfortunately, in communication, when you're even sending the most positive message, it's always the receiver who gets to interpret your message, and it can get mixed up. You can only but try to clarify it throughout the conversation. So I would say don't let that stop you from engaging in those conversations. Just kind of craft your messaging to always be very positive in how you want to move forth the mission and goals of the organization and how you can contribute to get them to their next level, and that will be more received. That's a really great question and great observation. Great point, Dustin. Open door policy, absolutely. Okay. Keep the questions coming, I like it. All right, so the next two are activating and prosper, right? So this is where you're going to own your power. You're going to become a thought leader. You're going to mobilize those women on the rise and you're going to live your best life. How do we do that? We're going to become a subject matter expert in a certain area. We can't, what's that saying? Someone help me in the chat. I think it's the master of all things, or jack of all trades, master of nothing, or master of all things. I know I was going to mess that up, but you definitely want to become a master and a specialized in a certain area, right? You want to position yourself to be the expert, so you are the go-to person when they have any questions about that particular topic. And again, when I say mobilize other women, we are not an island. And this is just not even for women. Humans are not an island. We do not stand alone. We need people. We are connectors. The only way that we're going to get to our next level is with the support and help of other individuals. So don't isolate yourself, right? Be a connector, be a contributor, and always try to bring someone else along, because someone is helping you in your journey and in your pathway. So why not kind of pay it forward and also reach back to make sure the other person comes along, and then living your best life. That's truly owning your power. I'm going to pause here. I'm going to throw a question out there. How do you define success? Because to me, success is living your best life, but I'm curious, how do you define success? There's no right or wrong answer.
Give you all some time to really think about that. I'm sure that can mean a lot of different things for different folks. All right, we have a few answers coming in. Marsha says, when what you have poured into another person, they're using to grow. Lynn says, being fulfilled or content. Karen says, when I have achieved my purpose in life, Natalie says, achieving goals that bring you, your individual happiness. Sherry says, pursuing and living out dreams. Dustin says that success is defined in the satisfaction a person receives from knowing they have done their best.
Yes, those are all great answers. And that's like a culmination of how I define success. For me, success is just being happy and happy with myself, right? Some people define success, career status levels, career choices. And for me, I like it, peace of mind, the path that I choose to walk. Again, because you're designing that. That's what success is. It's truly just living and embracing what you want out of life. Great, no regrets. These are all fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, let me go. Keep going. I'll get caught up in these slides. Let me keep going here. All right, so here are 3 key strategies to help you leap into your next career position. Let's talk about it. You're going to discover your strengths and you're going to own them, right? You're going to up-level your communication style. And we're also going to leverage your background and differentiate yourself. So let's talk about discovering your strengths and owning them. So knowing your strengths gives you the ability to communicate who you are to others. You can increase your confidence and you can be your best authentic self. How do you discover what your strengths are? These are some tools that I recommend. You may know some more beyond this list here, but I absolutely like the Clifton Strength Finders, BIA Character Strengths, the Myers-Briggs testing. There's a free one called 16 Personalities, I believe. When I did my Clifton Strength Finders and identified my top 5 strengths, it was a game changer for me. Absolute game changer. I already was thinking that I was walking in that pathway, but to see it confirmed through this particular tool, game changer. My number 1, I will share out, is a maximizer. So in my world, good is not good enough. I'm always striving for excellence. So I am pushing myself extremely hard to get to that next level. I want to give the best of me in everything that I want to do, everything that I do. And that's how I operate in my personal life as well in my professional life. I want to make sure that I am helping, I am contributing, I am adding value. I don't ever want to just be like laid back. I want to be involved. I want to make the organization greater as a whole and not just in this one area. But I know what my strengths are. And because I know what my strengths are, I'm able to operate in that. And I'm able to operate from a level of confidence because now, not only do I know what they are because I've identified them, I'm actively utilizing them in my walk in life, careers, as well as personal. Right? So I'm being true to who I am. I'm being my authentic self, and I'm giving the best of me on a daily basis. So I can, have my own self-satisfaction and happiness in knowing that I am doing what I'm supposed to do to advance the greater good, but also contributing in these different arenas that I'm actually operating in. And I like to say the word playing in, that I'm playing in. Okay, so you want to know your strengths. You want to own them once you identify them. It's going to have you operating from a place of confidence, and you're going to be truly who you are. People will be able to interact with you and know this, this individual is good at writing this white paper for us. And this person is who we should have networking. And this person is who we should have speaking at the next conference. Okay, you want to know what your strengths are. And again, these are just some recommendations. You may have some others. You may have taken these. By all means, you can put in the chat. I'm always looking to add to my toolbox of resources, but you want to, these are just some that I was recommending. So this is something I like to also share, that every next level of your life will demand a different you. And sometimes people hear that and they're just like, well, why do I have to keep changing? I like who I am. But have you ever noticed when you want something, I'm going to use the term level up. When you want to level up or you want something different, it doesn't necessarily come easy because it's not comfortable for you. Like everyone goes through these flows of being uncomfortable until you master something and then you are comfortable. Right? So every next level of you will demand something different of you. And that's okay. We should be evolving. We should be growing. We should be constantly learning. The world should be your classroom. And at no point in time should we feel like there's not something else that we can learn to make ourselves better so we can be a better individual, to be a better contributor into any arena that we're playing in? I'm just taking a look at the quick chat message. I love Strength Finders, fantastic.
I had a employer who required us to do, I think it was Clifton Strengths. And I think that's a great, any one of those features would probably be great for people to understand. And I use it in interviews.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a game changer. If you have not done it, I strongly recommend it. When you see your top, and I just say again, top 5. Now, you know, there's overlaps, you can go down the list, but your top 5 will be predominantly who you are, and it's a game changer. That's all I can say. All right, so let's keep this moving. All right, number 2, up-level your communication style. What do I mean by that? That communication is more than presentation skills. It's about ditching those verbal cues, being mindful of your tone, owning your inflections, position your body, reading the room, right? Communication is more than your words. It's also about our presence, you know, especially for us women. We are always on. Think about it, ladies. When you walk in the door, all eyes are on you. So since all eyes are on you, take advantage of it, right? So ditching the verbal cues, that's eliminating some of those filler words, the ums, the ahs. My daughter, I have a young adult daughter, and when she talks, it's mom, it's like, oh, it's like, you know what I mean? And I'm just looking at her like, so I'm working with her to be very mindful of those filler words. And I understand that sometimes we get nervous and we have those filler words, but just take a minute, just take a pause, breathe in that moment rather than use a filler word. And when I say be mindful of your tone definitely can change how messages are delivered. Someone, one of the questions was about interpretation and coming across confrontational. All depends on your tone, right? When you ask a question, owning your inflections, where are you putting that inflection in the word, in the sentence, right? So it can sound like a question, how are you today? Or it can be like, how are you today, right? Very sarcastically. So we have to be mindful of these your inflections when you're having these communication. And here I am using no one's perfect. When you're engaging in communication with other individuals and positioning your body, right? Body posture. If you're slouching, that sends its own message. If you're standing tall and erect, that sends its own messaging. And reading the room, this is very important. When you are joining a meeting virtually or on the ground, walking into a room, you want to read the room. Reading the room, you can look at all of these that's on the list. Are people sitting there, arms crossed, slouching in the chair, leaning over? Are they alert, ready to be a part of the conversation? Is there chattering happening? Read the room. All that's part of communication and how you are going to engage, because you play this in your mind, how you're going to engage with the individuals in that room. So I want you to remember that communication is more than the words that's coming out of your mouth. It's definitely about your presence, your whole being. How are you showing up? How are you appearing? And don't forget, ladies, we are always on. Always. People are always looking at us. And the third is leveraging your background and differentiating yourself. And what I mean by that is defining your brand, your gifts, your talents, your skills to get noticed. What are your superpowers? Is what I like to call them. You know, your personal brand is a promise of performance that creates expectations in its audience. So how are you going to articulate who you are? What differentiates you from others, right? This is kind of that value proposition. What makes you different? How is this going to increase your visibility? How are you going to use what makes you different, increase your visibility? Here are some examples. If you're good at writing, offer to write up that analysis for the team project. If you're fantastic at networking, you can represent the company at the next after work events. And if you're a compelling public speaker, Ask to share your department highlights at the next board meeting. Find those opportunities where you can shine, where you can share out your gifts, where they can see you beyond your current task of what you were hired for. Let's just say you were hired to be a receptionist, but you're great at being a public speaker. So let them see that I don't have to always sit here and just answer the phone. I can represent the company in another setting. These are game changers. And this is how you design your career path. This is how you take ownership of it. You let them know these are the talents I have to offer, and I want to share it out with the organization. Esther, are there some questions?
Just some comments agreeing with you. Dustin is saying you're right. Nonverbal communication tells the story. It is not what you say always, it's also how you say it. That is a great point.
Fantastic. Good. That is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So I like to say you don't always get what you deserve in your career. You get what you demand. And this is not to be confrontational. This is not to be pushy or aggressive. It's okay to be assertive. It's just letting them know I have these additional talents. I have these additional skill sets that's in my toolbox. And you're not utilizing the full person. I have so much more to offer. Again, this is to advance the organization. Let them know. And the only way you can is by sharing it out with them. That's what I mean by demand. It's the, hey boss, can we have a conversation? Or next time in your annual evaluation, you're talking about how you performed over the past year. And now in this conversation, I would like to talk about where we're headed next year. Let me share out with you some of these additional skills that I have to offer. That's how you demand it. You put it on their radar and you have a conversation about it. So, ladies, I love this image because these are three women walking down the hall. They look like they're encouraging one another, empowering one another, laughing, enjoying whatever's happening here. And when I saw this image, I said, there goes a woman who, I could fill in the blank, but I want you to fill in the blank. When you see this, what does this say to you? There goes a woman who does what? I'm so curious. Put it in the chat, please. Oh, enjoying life, confident, yes. Encouraging, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, these are all good responses. All good responses. Empowered, yes. Participates in the conversation, absolutely. Knows her worth, great, yes. When I see these women, speaks their truth, yes, these are great responses. When I see these ladies, it looks like they just came out of a meeting where they laid out everything that they want, and someone heard them. I'm not gonna say they got everything, but they was excited and they felt good enough to have shared out what they were able to contribute, and someone actually heard them, listened to them, and gave them the time, and they're excited about it. And they're excited because each one of them did that. They're excited because they did it as a group. They're excited because they are empowering and encouraging one another. These are all great responses I'm seeing. Authentic to herself, loving herself, self-motivated, yes, knowing who she is. These are fantastic. These are confident women. And this is how I want you to leave this presentation today. I want you to leave here with these core tips that you can truly design where you want to go. If you want to go to the next level in your company, just have the conversation with your boss. If you want to exit and try something different, career changes, people do it at all the time. It's never too late. It truly is now. Your time is now. You can pivot at any point in time. The time is truly now. Don't wait for it. Do not wait for someone to say, hey, I see the good work that you're doing. I was thinking that maybe you should apply for that next job that's going to be up on the job board in 6 months. I appreciate you noticing that. but I also saw a job that's currently being advertised that I'm interested in. And this is my skill set. Do you think that's something I should apply for? Or is there a sponsor, someone that you can connect me with that I could talk more about the position to get some additional information? Again, taking ownership, asking those questions, designing where you want to go. The time is now. Yes, Esther, you got it. The time is now. It wasn't yesterday. It's not tomorrow. It's today. Just make up in your mind right now what you want to do and connect yourself and align yourself with the individuals to get you to where you want to go. And you'll get there. I believe it. I believe it for all of you all. I believe it for myself. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see where you're going to go. So thank you today. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I really enjoyed presenting and talking about this. Hopefully you can feel my enthusiasm and passion comes across in my presentation. I definitely want to see ladies running this world, right? It's that other, I told you I like music, right? So who run the world? Girls. I think we should. I definitely want to see us sitting in more of those leadership positions. And we're getting there. It's been very slow, but we're getting there. We're getting there. And I think that each and one of you can also sit in that position. So if you choose to do so. Let me just also say that everyone doesn't want to be in leadership, and that is okay. You can be great right where you are, but if you aspire for something more, if you aspire to elevate in your career, go ahead and go get it. Time waits for no one. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to open it up for any questions that you may have.
Awesome. While everyone's pondering, I have a question, Dr. Sanders. Right now, I don't know, there's a lot of talk about different organizations requiring a certain percentage of women, like in board seats or different areas. What do you think about that?
I think it's great. I think those organizations are definitely trying to be more inclusive of women sitting in board positions. But as you can see, women are on boards. Like they are allowing, I want to say allowing, they are being more open to having more women on boards. But that's not my concern, because we're sitting on boards. We're not running these companies. And we're clearly educated to do so. But for some reason, we're not the CEO. When I think about women in color, and someone asked about the statistics broken down ethnically, when I think about women of color, I know that back in, we only had, I believe it was just two women of color up until 2017. It was Ursula Burns. She was the CEO of Xerox, and I think she retired in 2016. And then we had Indra Noory, who was the CEO of Pepsi, and she left in 2017. And then we had no woman of color specifically running a Fortune 500 company until 2021. Now we have Chandra Duckett, I believe she's the CEO of TIAA, and Rosalind Brewer, who's the CEO of Walgreens in 2021, right? So now we have two more women of color. And it's just that we can do so much better in putting women, all women, in CEO positions. And I would like to see more of that. But you're absolutely right. They are including more women in boards. And I will also say regionally is doing better in certain regions across the United States as well. I know the West Coast, California is really big on having a lot of women be involved.
That's great. We have a lot of people singing your praises. I know I'm pumped. I'm not sure if you all, I see that you all are pumped. I'm feeding off of the energy. They're definitely singing your praises, and they're very appreciative of the presentation. We do want to definitely open up any questions you all have for Dr. Sanders here.
Yeah, please ask me any questions. I mean, I'll keep talking, but ask me any questions. I truly believe that you have to go get it. Go get it. Can't stop, won't stop. I have my entire whiteboard over here, and I have all my little sayings. Can't stop, won't stop. I'm looking at it now. I can't stop, won't stop. I'm being aggressively pursuing my dreams. No one can stop me. It's just a whole bunch of affirmations. So I just say, go get it. And I truly believe in designing rather than defaulting. Like, just be very clear. You have to be very clear on what you want to get out of life and what you want to get out of your career. And then put a pathway, put a plan in place. And you can't do it by yourself. That's very important too. You can't do it by yourself. So find yourself a mentor, find yourself a coach. And most importantly, which what they don't tell women that men do have is a sponsor. Find someone that's going to endorse you and open those doors for you.
I like to find someone that's going to endorse you. That's a great takeaway. We do have 2 questions in the Q&A. Dustin is asking, is there a future in advanced gender studies?
Is there a future in advanced gender studies? I'm going to say yes. I think there's a future in everything. So I think that's a good area to also continue to explore. It's a really good question.
Awesome. Karen is asking, when finding your strengths, how do you narrow them down if there are multiple of them?
That's another great question. Karen, I would strongly recommend the Strength Finders. It narrows it down for you. So when you take that assessment, it will show you all of your strengths, but it's going to show you your top 5. Your top 5 is really where you're going to be dominating and working out of. So I would say do Strength Finders, and it's going to identify your top 5. And again, you may know what they are already, right? So you may say, I am a connector, and I like to connect people to resources. I am, like me, a maximizer or futuristic. I think about how I want to plan things for the future, and I'm very positive. You may know this of yourself, and then take this Strength Finder, and it may affirm what you know, or show you a blind spot, something that you necessarily did not see about yourself. And then be like, oh my goodness, okay. And you start operating from that space. So I strongly recommend Cliff Finders.
Mm-hmm. And what's great about Cliff Finders too, and all of the other Strength Finder type assessments, like they may also give you some of your weaknesses that you can work on. To improve your strengths or kind of work on those areas. So those are great too.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point that you make, Esther. So again, for me, I know my top 5. Now, I'm not an activator, right? So that's somebody who definitely wants to do all of the details. I know that I'm really good at being a delegator versus an activator. So you know what I want to do? I want to align myself with an activator, right? Yes. To make a perfect partnership. You know, kind of the visionary, and this person wants to kind of be in the weeds and do everything. I'm like, oh, that's great. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So when you know your strength and you know the strength of your other team members or people in your organization, you can put together powerful, powerful partnerships and just do some great things.
Absolutely. We have another question from Dustin. Do you think it is more important for women to advance in the public or private sector throughout corporate America?
I honestly don't think it matters which one you're advancing in. Yeah, I don't think it really matters. What I've been focusing on, Dustin, is the public side, where you don't see a lot of women in those CEO positions. But I will also say, conversely, in higher ed, you will see a lot of women in some of those senior leadership positions. So it is industry specific. In the government, I haven't really done too much research there, but I feel like that's still very heavily male dominated as well at the top. But they're trying to do things differently. When we're getting a woman of color who's about to sit on the Supreme Court, right? Well, I think we already have one, correct? Don't we have one?
Well, yeah, we have.
Maybe we just doesn't have. We don't have African American women, but I feel like we're making strides in all industries. I said I'm a maximizer, right? I want to see it now. I want to see. Yeah. I want to see more of us running these organizations.
Right. Lynn is making a comment here. Mentoring is missing for women. I'm not sure if she's mentioning that there's a void. Is there a lack of it?
Well, Lynn, I would challenge that thought and just say, I don't think it's lacking. I think women have mentors. I think women don't have sponsors. So a mentor can be someone who's pouring into you, encouraging you to be your best, and to tell you, kind of identify some of those areas where you are great and maybe help you navigate where you should apply for certain jobs. That's all great. You need that. But what kind of, I want to say, one up that or level up that is the sponsor. The sponsor is the individual that sits on those interview panels and say, oh, Lynn, she works in this department and she's really great at what she does. I think you should definitely give her an interview. And because of that endorsement, you are kind of advanced to have that interview. So I do think women have mentors, but I think we lack in sponsorship where men actually don't like there. Men have sponsors.
Martha is saying, as a rising therapist, my interest is to empower others and become an entrepreneur. Do you have any advice
on becoming an entrepreneur? I would say just do it. Definitely do it. If that's something you desire, definitely, position yourself so you can be the best therapist and best entrepreneur out there. Don't hold yourself back.
Right.
Not at all.
I have Natalie here who's asking, as a first generation student, I'm one too, where do you find resources?
That's a great question. I too was a first generation student. And again, remember, we're not an island, right? So we're connecting. If you're a student here at NCU, you have the Academic Success Center. Talk to your faculty members, ask them for resources, any connections outside of NCU. Your employer, ask them how they can support you. What do they recommend? You could do some research on your own. Feel free to email me. I like to say that I'm a connector. Anything that I have, I don't mind giving, because I really feel like that's my purpose. My purpose in life is not to hoard everything for myself. It's truly to share it out with everyone so everyone can live their best life. It's enough pieces of the pie out here for all of us to just enjoy life. So just connect with everyone that you know. Public library is a great resource. Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely.
I would like to add the center, if you're looking for resources in regards to NCU, the Center for Teaching and Learning is a great place. We have the Academic Success Center. We have a lot of little resources. I can send that out to you, Natalie. I think I should have your email. I can send that out to you as well. They also have the No Place Like Home. If you're new to NCU, if anyone here is new to NCU, I think they do that, like it's a webinar every week with, and we also have our navigators as well, who are NCU alumni who can kind of help navigate or help you through anything. We all get
that alumni association, that's another good resource.
Okay, I'll try and make a little a list of links, and then I'll send it out to you guys.
University of Maryland alum, okay. If anyone wants to, I'm sorry, I have to shout that out. Seton Hall alum, University of Maryland alum, John Jay College of Criminal Justice alum. I'm all here for it. I'm here for anyone. So anyone want to connect with me, you can definitely connect with me here. All my little handles. Feel free. Feel free to connect with me. I love chatting when I have the time. I definitely respond. I have this free resource. If you want to reach out, go to the site, download the free resource. Feel free. You can feel free to reach out to me. Again, I don't mind sharing resources. I really do believe that I become so others can become. So as I continue to evolve and grow, it is my job in life to pour into others. I want to see everyone win in whatever arena they're in, cheering you on. So feel free to connect, but just get in the arena. You gotta get in there. You gotta get in there. This is my last reference. It's not hip hop, it's a movie reference. So I like to watch movies too. I don't know if anyone sees the movie Creed. It's part of the Rocky movies. And in that one, Adonis Creed is being trained by Rocky Balboa, and he's looking in the mirror. And Rocky says to him, you see that person in the mirror? That's your biggest competitor. And that's what I want you to know. You are your biggest competitor. You can be your worst enemy, but you can also be your greatest motivator. It does not matter what society say. It does not matter what anyone else says. When you know and you're clear and you're intentional where you want to go, just be steadfast in that and your resolve and keep pushing forward. You are your biggest competitor. No one else can stop you from what you want and what you desire.
Awesomeness. We have one last question, and we'll probably end up closing it out here. Dustin is asking, do you believe that women have made significant strides in military-based leadership positions?
Oh, military. Dustin, you will come with the hard questions. I don't know too I don't know too much about military, so I can't intelligently respond to that. I would hope so, though.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope that in all arenas we're just making strides. I feel like we are. I just think that it's really slow, when it just comes to women in any position, even when it's across all types of categories. Pay equity, we're still behind. Men, and I showed you the data. Like, we are just as educated, we are just as capable, we're in the workforce, we're doing what we need to do to prepare ourselves. But for some reason, I don't know what's happening. But I'm part of the fight to figure it out and break these barriers and all of these glass ceilings to get us where we need to go. So
I said I was going to ask this as the last question. One more question. I'm not sure if you've authored any books or anything. I feel like you're a personality that you should be somewhere.
So I have not authored any books. Okay. Because I personally like the interaction. I like the question. So I typically do a lot of speaking engagements, and I do conferences, and I like to talk, and I like to engage, and I like to interact. As you can see, I'm feeding off everyone's energy. You're asking good questions, you're putting in good comments, and I just like it. I am just a ball of energy. So, but one day you will see Dr. Sanders on a bookshelf. It's coming.
Okay. I look forward. All right, everyone. Dr. Sanders, thank you so much for the empowering words. I hope everyone who is here, whether woman or man, has been able to take some information today, and I hope it will be helpful to you. Thank you, Dr. Randy Sanders, for taking the time to present, and thank you to the attendees for joining today. As a reminder, the recording will be posted in the CTL LibGuides within 24 hours. I'll send that to you via email and our YouTube link as well.
Have a good day.
All right, bye-bye, everyone.